Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about witches. I've always been a little obsessed with witches. When I was a kid, I would go to the library and I would borrow books on spells and astrology and natural herbs. I was brought up by parents who were very into spirituality, so at a young age I was exposed to tarot cards, incense, crystals, and the power of manifestation. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what it is to be a witch today. To me, a witch is a woman in her full feminine power. A woman who is whole and connected to her true self, her intuition, and the world around her. She is strong, sure, capable, and confident. Personally, I do identify with the term witch. I just love saying it out loud. Witch. A witch is a woman who is empowered. Something I do that empowers me is dance. When I'm dancing, I feel like the truest version of myself. I feel sensual and wild and soft and graceful and strong and powerful. Since witchcraft is not a religion, but more of a spiritual practice, there are many things that I do that may be considered witchy. I love to burn incense and sage to cleanse the energy of a space. I collect a lot of crystals and keep them all over the house. I adore the moon and do a ritual whenever I feel is necessary for me. I sometimes read tarot cards when I feel like I need guidance in a situation, and I always trust my intuition. The media often portrays witches as these old and ugly hags, and I really think that's a terrible representation of them. Some of my favorite representations of witches in the media are the Charmed Sisters. I love them. Their power of three, magical sisterhood. They have some awesome powers and some of the best witch style ever, embracing their power. So I went around and I asked my friends these same questions, and it was really interesting hearing what they had to say.
Hey, so I'm Krystin, and I'm a jewelry designer, and I like to form copper into crystals, and I love cats.
Hi, my name is Samaza Murava. I am a singer, a holistic nutritionist, and a colon hydrotherapist.
Hi, my name is Riegler. I am a DJ, a drummer, percussionist, and a holistic healer.
Hello, so I'm Samira. I am also known as the Goddess of Miracles, and I am a Reiki Master Healer. Also, a witch. So that is what I'm here to talk to you about today.
Like the term witch, what that means to me is like a woman who really embodies like both sides of who she is, so like her light side and her dark side, because they're both really, really, really powerful. Like there's so much you can learn from both that like help you move through the world. It means someone who's like not scared of themselves and the world. They want to go and pursue their creative side and what they love, and they love really hard, and they just like they understand how the world works.
For me, witch is a pretty loaded term that I've really come to love and embrace and self-identify as. It's usually an empowered woman who is very close to the earth, very close to plant medicine, very close to herself and her own self-actualized power. Is not afraid to resist the societal standards and norms and just boldly be herself.
What a witch means to me is a woman that is empowered by her magic, and someone that uses her natural gifts or creative abilities to produce magic.
Being a woman who engages in magical practices and explores them through ritual, play, and nature.
So something that I do that really empowers me is jewelry design. So when I'm in my studio, like I feel super, super connected. I feel like I have this energy that like starts with my feet and it like comes up and it goes like, wow, I want to like conquer the world. And jewelry like channels that energy for me, and it's really, really nice to just sit in my studio by myself and just like get really, really into like my creative side. And something that goes along with that is photography, building like content and like a little.
I still don't know how this video is going to work because I really don't know how to edit very well, so I'm going to see what.
Conquer the world.
What empowers me as a woman and a witch is bringing ritual and intention into everything I do, whether it be the practice of cleansing my space or cleansing my body or connecting to my body. I like to bring ritual into everything that I do because I believe that ritual creates intention, and intention brings meaning into what you're doing, and that's what makes magic. That's where the magic happens.
So what are the practices that I do to connect to myself? I try to keep a pretty tight morning routine. I like to just start my day from a place of of just power and connection to self. I do a few times a week as well. I do some oracle card readings and some automatic writing, and for me that's how I connect to kind of my higher self, and I get in just a complete state of flow and intuition.
So for me, reconnecting with my true self, I use crystals.
It's just like otherworldly powers.
I meditate, I journal, because there's so much going on in my mind. I have to write it down, and it's really neat because I get to record my synchronicities and then go back in time and then remember exactly what happened, and it blows my mind. Use incense. I use essential oils. I like to use candles that smell really good to get me in my zen. I like to do things with the moon. The moon is the best way for me to connect to where my emotions need to be at and kind of check in with where they are at, and find a balance in that.
So my favorite representation of a witch is from a book by Paulo Coelho, and her name is Brita. And she's like this young girl, and she like feels this power in herself, and she just like pursues it and goes for it, and she finds like another woman who's a witch to like mentor her and teach her tarot. She's amazing. The book is amazing.
As a kid, it was definitely Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I was obsessed with that show, and I wanted a black cat. I still want a black cat. I will have a black cat. But now I look at, there's a lot of really cool witches on Instagram that I totally admire. The Trap Witch, the Hood Witch, the Mexican Witch, the Pussy Witch. So I think that they're really dope, empowered women, and they do an incredible job at expressing themselves and their magic in a very unapologetic way, which I think is what people need to see in order to step into their powers.
I was really drawn to The Wizard of Oz as a little kid, but you know, I actually don't like how the Bad Witch is presented, because that kind of is the narrative that's always told about witches as these like dark, like ugly, evil, usually kind of an outcast from society. So even though I was very drawn to that as a child, I really don't like that depiction. And as a teenager, I was really into Sabrina, Melissa Joan Hart, that era of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. But I really did like that because it was very normalized. She was just like in high school doing her thing, and she just had these connections to these kind of like other worlds, had her talking cat and all that.
Favorite representation of a witch in the media is "That's so Raven." Oh my god, I love her. And I feel like I am her sometimes because I have like slight ADD, so I'll just like zone out and then just like come back to life.
I think every woman has a witch inside her. We all came from witches in some way, and it is our purpose to reawaken the witch within by remembering who we truly are as women. That's what makes a witch. I will absolutely follow the path of the witch. Will you? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like it, please hit like or subscribe. That would mean so much to me. I also wrote a whole blog on this topic as well, so if you'd like to read that, you can find that in the description below. That's all for now.